We talk about why used cars are such a huge part of the market, and we give you our picks in 3 different price categories. Next on Talking Cars. Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Talking Cars with Consumer Reports. I'm John Lincove.
I'm Jake Fisher.
And I'm Jennifer Stockberger.
And you can see that we have a whole new setup, but we've been listening to the comments because we have new mic stands, we're looking at different filters. We heard that everyone wants to see our pretty faces. So here we are. We're trying some new things every week and shaking it up a little bit. And there's going to be changes over the next couple of weeks, but please, we're going to roll with it. Let us know in the comments. Let us know what you think of it. And as part of the change-up, we're not going to be talking about cars that are in our fleet today. We're going to be talking about used cars because used cars, huge part of the automotive universe. Example, in 2015, there's 17.4 million new cars sold. Do you know how many used cars were sold that year?
You're going to tell
Hazard
us.
a guess? Hazard a guess?
Probably
Three times.
Oh, you studied. 43 million used cars were sold that year. 44 million used cars were sold in 2016. So it's a huge part of the world. And I think like Jen was saying at one point, a lot of people obviously buy them because it's the only option for them, right?
Right. They can't even fathom 25 grand or 30 grand for a new car. They just can't do it.
So, I mean, there's this weird opposite thing going on, right? So people are buying used cars, but everyone's talking about new cars.
Yeah.
And we talk about new cars all the time because of the shiny new thing, right? You go to the auto show, there's no auto show for used cars. Maybe there should be because there's a whole lot more choices in the used car market.
Exactly. Well, it's all the cars that, people have, been leasing, They traded, they're done with the 3-year lease, they bring them back, they lease something new. A lot of cars people trade in. They're good vehicles, they're solid, they took care of them, and they're out there for people to buy. And like Jen was saying, the new car right now, $33,000, $35,000 is the average price. That's a ton of money. So,
and the choices you have for used cars have never been greater. So I mean, there's new ways of getting used cars. I mean, you could go to Craigslist, you could go on eBay Motors, you could go, and to the point of leasing. Leasing has really exploded in the last several years. And what that means is there's tons of these cars in the market. It's not about getting the used rental car because you don't know how that really went. But you have these certified pre-owned vehicles that have about 36,000 miles. They've been taken care of, and they actually come with a manufacturer warranty.
well, especially the
And they're
certified.
not old. They're not even old.
3 years old.
4 years old.
That's right.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And some are even off of a 2-year lease because some people can only get into a 2-year lease to be able to lease something. And the certified ones are in particular really interesting. I mean, for years we talked about don't get anything with a certified warranty, don't get an extended warranty, just buy the reliable car. And it's true. Buy that Honda Accord and don't get the warranty on it because 9 times out of 10, and our reliability data shows it, it's going to be a solid car. And you take that $2,000 for certification and you put it in the bank. Right. But you know what? If you're taking a risk on something, or if you just want that extra, backing of having the warranty, it's if you know about it up front, go ahead and do that. And those are the cars that the dealers take. And they certify because they know they're already in good condition.
Well, I mean, I think it's really important to separate the two things about kind of the traditional used car warranty and the certified pre-owned vehicle.
Sure.
So, I mean, it used to be you go to a used car lot, it is John's, special used
thing
cars,
going
the
around
wavy
like
guy,
this,
yeah.
right?
And I mean, these cars, you have no idea what happened, and you're paying extra for this used car warranty that covers this but doesn't cover this, and who knows if that place is going to be around. But when you're buying a used Mercedes-Benz or used Honda that has been leased, and now you've got a factory-backed extended warranty,
That's key.
it's kind of a different animal. And if your alternative is buying a new car, a lot of people, they don't want to get a used car because there's risk involved, right? I mean, they don't want to have somebody else's problems. They don't want a car that's under warranty. They don't want to have to put a new transmission or whatever these issues are. But these cars, if you do your homework, you get a car that's reliable and the car that's actually backed. You're almost getting the same experience as a used car, as a new car.
As a new car.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and just if there's any other reason for why we're talking about it, just think of this, some numbers for you. The wonky, a little boring, but it makes a big point.
Tune out, everybody. What are you doing?
Average price of a new car, $35,000. Okay.
Right.
Value after 6 months, $31,000.
Oh, so it's immediate. Yeah.
Value after 1 year, $28,000. Value after 3 years. So that car that just came off the lease, $17,900.
Wow. So
It's
it's a
lost
huge jump.
50% of its value in 3 years.
Sounds like
The
a
average
great
car.
investment.
Sounds like a great investment, right? Then
Whereas-
sign me up for another one.
Whereas when you get a used car, you're not going through that at all. You're getting a car that has lost its value, and it's a much slower decline. So you might get a nice 3-year-old vehicle that's lost 50% of its value. After 6 years, it's lost much less. You're not cutting your value in half again.
And particularly for people with kids getting into a car, you would like them to get the newest car possible, of course, right, Jen?
Yeah, we'll talk about that when I get to my picks.
Okay, so we
so
won't give
yeah, I
anything
bring that
away.
in. Don't give it away yet.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm
we'll
getting
keep-
there.
It's the option that most families have for a car.
Yep.
And that's where a huge part of the market is going to be. It's a student in high school or someone who's graduating college, a lot of debt possibly, or just starting out in the world.
Right, first job. Yeah.
That's key. So that's why ideas like that, reasons like that, are why we've kind of taken a look at this, because most people buy by price. Some people buy by style. I want an SUV, and then they go that way. But you know your budget.
Yep.
And you fall into it. So we put out the question. So what if your budget was $10,000, $15,000, or $20,000? What would you buy? And we're going to start at $10,000.
And we haven't shared this yet.
We haven't shared this, so it's all going to be
we
the same
don't know
car.
each other's picks yet. Yeah.
It's all going to be an E30
don't
M3.
Yeah, don't peek.
Or our Audi RS4, right?
Stop.
Right?
Stop.
So anyway, I'm going to throw it to Jen first, because I want to know $10,000. So
Okay.
anywhere up to $10,000, your budget, what would you choose?
Okay, so I picked, and again, we're choosing some from our used car data, cars that are kind of our good bets. So I picked a 0809 Hyundai Sonata.
Okay.
So the reason I picked it is when you start in that under 10,000 range, as you would expect, it skews way over to subcompact compacts.
Sure.
Stuff that was inexpensive in the first place. Sonata gets you a little more room than some of those. I think the used car, it's a great value when it's new. That keeps going into the used car market.
Sure.
You touched on, and I'm going to say it here, we are just starting to see, again, and I've said this before, as a mother of a young driver, it's the first time we're starting to see the standard ESC cars come in under that 10,000 mark in volume. There was a few,
Right.
but now you can get a car with standard electronic stability control for a young driver under $10,000.
And that's a life-saving safety feature.
Right,
It's the modern safety belt.
Right. If there's nothing else we've said for a teen driver or a young driver, you got to get that. The one thing I noticed on the Hyundai too is we publish a range for those 08, 09 Sonatas. It's getting close to the $5,000 mark at the base of that range. You compare it to an 07 Accord, a year older, and that's $7,500. So
Right.
you're already balancing against the more reliable names. I think you benefit somewhat from Hyundai's still reputation that it still battles with in the value. So that was my pick, Hyundai Sonata.
Yeah, they made a good car, and they
was a
just
great car, yeah.
had the baggage of people still thinking when they came over
Yep.
back in the late 80s, early 90s, and they're putting out just
Yeah.
garbage.
And I still hear it. I don't know if you guys still hear it, like, oh, Hyundai, oh, Kia, you'll get that
Oh,
comment.
they do have the reputation.
You did.
yeah.
They
They do.
do.
They do.
And I'm like, no, it's not the same anymore. So
That's
anyway.
right.
Jake, what have you
Yes.
got?
Well, first of all, yes, I did cheat. I used Consumer Reports information, and look, our,
So we have a lot of products on that. We have a whole robust rollout basically of used car data.
yeah, if you're
So-
paying attention on Consumer Reports online, even if you're not a subscriber, you could go on there and you could see basically every single year of the used car. You could see what goes wrong with the cars. We put a lot of free information out there too,
Yeah, some
which
of
is
our road
kind
test
of
information.
Well, and a lot of what people think about those cars, what actually experiences they had with reliability. So it's all there. But let me preface that this is not my car. This is my advice to a friend, and I say that because I would probably get something wacky like early '90s RX-7 or. Something.
V8
classic
swap
of
or
some
something
Yeah,
like that.
exactly.
Yes,
So
yes.
nobody really wants to know what I'm getting. But if someone came to me and said, "I got 10 grand, I want to buy a car," be a 2010 Mazda 6.
Yeah.
Again, this is a car that's it's got stability control. It's got unbelievable reliability. You can get them with a 6-speed manual. They're actually available, and that's a great transmission. Really makes the car really fun. But roomy, it's a good choice.
Yeah, solid vehicle, solid. I put a couple options in each one.
Oh, so you're
Oh,
cheating.
you're
I set up the
Overachiever,
I set up the
overachiever.
questions. It was, I'm hosting. It's
I see how it
my
is.
shiny bald head that gets to be seen
My
most of the time. So a couple categories: 2010 to 12 Mazda 3. I chose the 10 to 12, even though there's other ones that are reliable, because of crash tests. The side impact crash tests on pre-2010s Mazda 3s
Yeah,
was
good.
not good.
Yep.
So good fuel economy, good crash test on that one. And then you kind of toss it up between an 07 Accord, a Honda Accord, and an 07 to 09 Ford Fusion. Same class, family sedan, reliable. The Accord is the final year of the run, and I chose it specifically for that one because we often see that the final year of a car when it's built
Oh yeah.
It's one of the
is
best.
when they've worked out all the
Yeah,
problems.
yeah.
Sure.
And it tends to have the most equipment. They're okay, fine, we'll throw that in as well. That used to be an option and on the base one, and it was standard and limited. Now they all get it. So those are three there. I'm looking at it from a family perspective. I mean, I've got two little kids. What would I get? What would I recommend to me if I was standing outside my body?
And also, you're just recommending all the cars.
Yeah, well,
Any other ones you want to?
I did have a couple others if I undid my edits. I think we'll roll through. But I have a couple more in the next group.
Okay.
Okay.
So Jen, what if you were able to bump the budget up?
Okay.
Okay. So now you're looking at $15,000 as your ceiling.
Okay. So my take here is that used cars also get you the car that you really always wanted new but could never afford, that reach car. So I put in there an Infiniti M, 07, 08 M.
Yep.
So you think of a brand new Q70, 50K.
Right.
That's not happening. But as the M, which we liked from even early, we loved that car, the balance, that it gives you the chance to get that car you always wanted, couldn't afford. And in my case, I need the all-wheel drive, so that was a cool thing for that one as well.
Right. That was available. So
Yep.
rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
okay. Jake, what about?
I like Jen's pick.
Oh, you
I'm
did.
gonna-
No, and just to say,
Oh,
I mean,
you guys didn't
no.
I did. I
That
think
wasn't my
that's good.
pick. No,
Okay,
I'm just saying. I think hers was better than mine. And for anybody who's familiar with that car, that is the old Infiniti. I mean, that was an Infiniti was awesome.
Right.
I mean, they were just like head to head with BMW and
Yep.
Mercedes Benz. The interior quality just blows away current Infinitis. I mean, it's just a really, really.
I think the
nice
infotainment
car.
system in today's Infinitis is the same as back then, though.
I think it was better.
I think it was better back then, yeah.
Well, it worked more.
It wasn't
was
overly
more,
complicated.
It was more reliable.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
it was good.
Anyway, okay. No, my choice wasn't the M. I would get a 2014 Mazda 3. Again, mind meld. But I mean, the 14 Mazda 3, I mean, this is basically the same car that you'd buy as a new car. I mean, it's pretty much the same vehicle. It's got the Sky Active engine, which is super fuel efficient. The car's been really reliable. You could get a hatchback version with a stick shift. That again, it is just
That stick shift again.
such a blast to drive and reliable, fuel efficient, and again, nobody even knows that you have a used car. I mean,
Yeah.
it just
the current body style you're
It
getting.
is.
Yep, like you said.
Yep.
Good choice.
Not as good as yours. As your 4.
That's my
Yeah,
choice.
how many you
It's
got
actually
there?
5 if you
No,
want
he ran
to.
out
I
of
did-
he ran out of room on this.
I didn't want to have to tab over. So, 2007 to 10 Acura TSX, because that was one of the last cars that Acura had its mojo. It's a little small. You can get a wagon, so that's the journalist's
Yeah,
love.
yeah.
You get a
There
wagon.
you go.
Okay. It was the European Honda Accord.
That's right.
So you have this sporty car. It has luxury-ish features. You can get some luxury with it.
Oh, yeah.
Reliable. Again, super
Yep.
reliable, but fun to drive. If you wanted some luxury at a bargain basement, kind of like your Infiniti M, Hyundai Genesis from 2009.
Right.
Again, even the new ones flies on the radar. No one would really, I mean, the grills are a little different, but you wouldn't really know the difference. A lot of features for the money. And then also the family thing, an 09 Odyssey or a Sienna. And it's kind of a toss-up.
Yeah.
Well, that's a lot of vehicle for the money.
It's a
right
lot of
there.
vehicle for the money, and you get 19 miles per gallon, and you could get all-wheel drive with this Toyota Sienna.
Right, and we're talking about Nissan Versa prices.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, $15,000.
Right.
Maybe you'd be happy to get a Honda Fit.
Right. No, that would be tough. That'd be tough
to
right
get that.
there, yeah.
So you're
Right.
getting a vehicle for 7, possibly 8 people, depending on how it's set
Sure.
up. You're getting reliable car, and for the Northeast, like you said, people
Right,
who need
you
it for
can
snow,
get it.
you can get all-wheel drive.
Yep.
So, top of the budget, 20 grand.
20 grand.
We're still not at the new car prices anywhere, for average, but 20 grand is a lot of money to spend on a new car.
Yep.
On a used car, excuse me.
Yeah.
What would you buy?
Okay, you touched on this a little bit, because the other thing that used to let you get is the bigger car.
Right.
So I always love, and you'll laugh, but I like that Ford Flex. You talked about wagons.
You and the Flex
I
again.
love the Flex, and I do. And again, big kids, so much room.
Big appetites.
And I am a wagon. I just like wagons. It's
Yeah.
kind of this retro love that I have. And so you could put 7 adults. I mean, we still say, when there's minivans and 3-row stuff here, we're fighting
sure.
over it. So if you could get that for the under 20, the reliability is good. And again, I looked at Sienna too, that same idea. It's a year later when you
Right.
get up to the 20. One thing I did notice though, so in our used car content now, you can actually look and see if there's inventory in your area. One of the cool things is can I find one near me?
Right. It's all good to have this list, but if there's nothing around, or
Right.
you have no idea
So
where
you
to
click
start.
this link, and guess what I found on the Ford Flex?
None available because they're so popular.
None available because they're so popular.
'Cause it's just you that likes
so
them.
it's just
Because you
me.
have them all in your
So
parking
there is
lot.
that risk there. So I would have to expand my search area.
right,
But yeah,
But
there
that's where
was
it's worth
none.
it with a used car.
Right, you could do that.
You get you're not doesn't matter the deal where you buy it at that point. You're
I've
not
had
getting
2
anything special.
friends who have literally flown across the country, picked up a used car in climates that might be even a little better than the Northeast with no salt and all that,
Sure.
and driven the car back. 2. So, that's the other thing is it's not limited to
I have
the
to
Northeast.
delete my choice.
Did you have the Ford Flex in there?
I did.
You did.
Wow.
I knew it. I'm not the only
Flex
one.
buddies.
I'm not the only one.
Exactly. Jake.
I did not have the Ford Flex.
Well, that's good because the conversation would get
Yes.
boring.
So my choice. So $20,000.
20 grand's your ceiling.
It's kind of like where you'd buy like a Corolla. It's about 20 grand these days.
Yep.
A
Yeah, you're
Dodge,
not even getting a.
a Dodge Dart is like probably 21. I mean, dude,
It was
you know,
28, and then they put a lot of
was-
money on the
was.
hood. Yeah.
Okay. Now they're giving them away. But so it's not a lot of money for a new car. But my car would, let's see, standard stability control, goes 0 to 60 in 5.6 seconds, 328 horsepower, roomy, comfortable, lots of room for 4 people. 2011 an Infiniti G37.
You were just talking about this outside of this table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an incredible
Yeah.
car. I mean,
Yep.
it's back when, again, going back to Infiniti
Yeah.
back when making
Infiniti was
Infiniti
good.
great again, right?
Yep.
But I mean, Infiniti it was right up there, 3 Series,
Oh, yeah.
A4. I mean, just like head to head, but extremely reliable.
Right.
The reliability we have on those vehicles, 2011, just stellar reliability, but you get the performance and the driving fun and all that good stuff.
Based on our tests, I recommended that to my uncle. He has it. He bought a G37X. Loves it, drives it to Florida, drives it back, drives around the country because they don't fly, so
Right.
they spend a ton
Oh,
of hours in
geez.
that.
Yeah.
He had a problem with one, rolled into a random dealer in Georgia. They took care of him, gave him
Yeah.
a loaner car
Well,
for a
that's the other
while.
thing.
Wow.
Got it, take it. Loves it. He keeps talking about it every time. Has Tesla lust, but loves his G, and is kind of at the point of like he's got it like 200,000 miles on it. He doesn't know what to do.
Right.
Oh,
Where do you
gosh, where am I
go?
going to go?
Where do
what
you
think
go?
of the new ones and such? So
Yeah.
okay, I'll take that off my list.
Oh, my
see?
goodness.
More mind
Now
melt.
I have a smaller list. Now I'm looking at you guys. 2011 Cadillac CTS.
Oh, yeah.
A little out there, edgy styling, but get that luxury, reliability. It's above average reliability, performance. It's a little bit out there and it gives you luxury, but it's something that you don't see every day now. You know, it stands out. It's a little distinct. It was one of the last of that generation, a really good Cadillac. The new CTS is a great car. This gives you some fun. Gives you a little bit of room. It's got a little bit of cheesiness in the interior. I will say that, but overall, that's a solid one. And family car, I have to give a little bit of love to the Acura MDX that's in my garage. My
Exactly.
wife has an 11.
Right.
The 2010 was a good car, sporty ride, good handling, tons of buttons. So if you like buttons in your car, I think there's like 47 buttons all over the dash. And it has a knob as well, central controller. So you get both of those. Strong engine. So that's my choice.
I have a friend has one. Her teenagers are now driving it. It just keeps going and going and going.
Yeah,
So,
it does. I mean,
great.
we don't drive it a lot, so we have low miles on it.
Yep.
But it's paid off, and it's one of those things where like, what will we get, for this?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
And my wife sits in all the cars that I bring home. She's like, there's really
like mine
nothing
better."
I'm seeing that's going over.
Well,
that."
I mean, look. I mean, it's like we have older cars. I mean, again, it's like, what would you get? It's like, look at what we do have, and again, my wife's driving a 2006 Toyota Prius, 125,000 miles. It's got stability control. It's got Bluetooth. It's got a backup camera.
Yep.
It's had no problems. Nothing.
Right, and then we had the Prius we brought in with 200,000 miles on it, and the performance drop was insignificant.
Right, still getting
2
40
miles per gallon.
40
I
miles
think.
per gallon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, with that, we do have a couple questions that people sent in to us, and one of them is right for you, Jen. In fact, I think you might even know who
about a
sent it
Fusion.
to. I love the 2015 GMC Canyon, excuse me, but that mid-sized pickup truck, and you guys seem to hate pickups because they don't drive like cars. Though they're not supposed to either. They're trucks, and you guys don't understand why people like them. And I think someone's a little
Is
confused.
that my husband? I think that's my husband.
It sounds like Jack. I mean,
It is.
it's the Canyon and
Yeah.
not what he drives.
No, so that is my husband for you guys. That is my husband. He drives a 2012 Nissan Frontier, and he loves his truck. Now I will tell you, he loads the bed maybe 10 days a year, really. So the other 355 days, he's using it to drive back and forth to work. We're pretty rural. We have horses. We need the bed sometimes.
sure.
And he's, an outdoorsman. He really likes it. But that's, I think, why we rate them the way we do. We don't expect anybody to think they're going to be like cars, but we certainly want to make that comparison because for most people, they are using them more as a just transportation than they are as trucks.
Right,
If
and
that
it's-
makes any sense.
Yeah, well, first of all, it's
included.
relative
Yeah.
ride, relative handling.
Right.
No one thinks that your husband's truck is going to ride and handle like this Mazda CX-5 over here, or
Right.
a Tesla, or even a Toyota Corolla. I mean, they're all different categories. But, and the question came really from talking about the Ridgeline. When we do test all the pickup trucks in the category, something's going to stand out in some place, and ride is one of the big ones, right, Jake?
Well, absolutely. And I think what's really important here is I always kind of crack up when people say, you guys don't like this car. You guys don't like. It's not that we don't like it.
Right.
We're just telling people what it does. And I think it's an important distinction. So
Yep.
it doesn't ride well, okay? It doesn't steer well. And therefore, in the ratings, it's not going to do well. It doesn't mean we don't like it.
Not easy to get into a Corvette or a 911, okay?
I mean, we went-
doesn't mean we don't like them.
We went on road bikes the other day, right?
Yep.
They don't ride very well.
They don't.
They're not very comfortable.
They're not.
We love
They don't protect
them.
you from the rain either.
We love them.
Exactly.
So it's a different thing.
Yeah. Within the category, if you're going to drive it every day, and you ask, like the person did, I need a truck for my dad, and he drives it every day, and once in a while he goes to the dump. Well, Ridgeline's going to be a heck of a lot better for a
Right.
new car than a
Right.
Tacoma.
Well, you touched on it too. You got within the category, but
Yep.
you also have within the universe of
Yeah.
all the cars. And that's where the trucks appear that we don't like them, is in the universe. But within trucks, we recognize what they do well and what they don't do well.
Exactly. Other question we have, so you say that all-wheel drive doesn't help you when it comes to cornering. Is that still true in all-wheel drive vehicles that include some form of asymmetric torque vectoring system, such as Acura's super handling all-wheel drive system, for example, or is that something a CR has specifically tested for? I'm going to throw the
We'll let the
handling
handling
question
guy do
to
that,
Mr.
yeah.
Drift Car.
Yeah. It's a bit of a gimmick. It really is. I mean, look, we take all the cars around the track. We take them, we push them at their limits. Now, first of all, with that system. Basically, you have to disable stability control and all these things. And there's certain situations where you hit the gas and it'll do some fancy stuff, but it really doesn't make a huge amount of difference at the limit. And it's certainly not anything you're going to see in your normal driving if you're not on a racetrack. And even if you are, there are cars that are normal all-wheel drive that are still going to be handling better. I mean, you know what? All-wheel drive. Look, give me a Audi A4 on the track before one of those the
Versus
fancy
my MDX with the SH all-wheel drive.
Yes, A4 versus MDX. Yeah.
And that's the thing. Everyday driving, 70 miles on the highway, it's not torque vectoring and loading the outside wheels slightly to make you
No.
hit that
No.
huge bend 0.08 of a tenth of a second later, quicker. It's
It's the tires that it's going to make the difference
Right,
around that
right.
corner.
That's
It's going to be about the grip. It's
Yep.
going to be at the
it may activate the wheel a little quicker, and that may in some sort of testing say, okay, well, for this grip, but you're not going to notice it.
correct.
You're not going to feel that. And in fact, one of the big things I want to come to with Mazda, they have a system where it changes the throttle when you turn in to make the car have less settle. And they then said, you're never going to feel it. You're never ever going to feel it. You might see a little less head bob in a video, but that's it.
Right. There's these incremental things that they do, and and that's fine. But no, it's not making a big difference in the driving.
But Jake touched on it. Tires is just the
Well,
key.
it's the influence. So you have these little nuanced things that you're saying you're not going to feel. Then you have tire grip. That's the big
That's
nut.
huge,
If you have it or
huge.
don't have it.
Right.
And the only place the nuance thing is maybe a tweak in an emergency situation, but we should capture that. But not in your everyday driving, to your point.
Right. Well, with that, we're going to wrap up this episode. As always, check out the show notes below for more information on the cars that we talked about in this episode. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.